Hey, first graders, it's me, Mr. Hyde, your science light, back with you for another day of science learning. And today we're going to also look at another way you could sort, which is by temperature. Hot, cold are some words that we use to describe temperature a lot of times, maybe even warm or cool. Can you think of any other words that you might use to describe temperature that could be considered hot or cold? Maybe the word freezing, words like that. Can you think of any other words? Awesome. Well, look behind me. I have a pot of water on the stove. What do you guys think? Would that be hot or cold? And you always want to be careful when you are um, around any objects that could be on a stove or something like that, that you can recognize before you touch it that it's actually hot or cold. It's very important. And scientists are always sorting different types of objects and things that they use, so they're safe. So they want to make sure they're safe. So this would be something that you would definitely want to make sure that you're safe when you're sorting by temperature, being able to recognize if it's hot or cold or warm or cool. So we're actually going to use some picture cards here, and we're going to sort them. So here's some of the cards. So I have, oh, can you see that? Hot cocoa. Actually, let me turn to my camera. You'll actually be able to see it a lot better, not in the boiling pot of water. So bringing my camera up here. All right. So here is my first card. I have hot cocoa. I have juice box, 100% juice. So that's healthy. I have iced tea with lemon. I have ice cubes. I have, oh, that's nice, somebody holding a puppy. And my last one is fire. So like a camping fire or something like that, fireplace. So what I have here is I have a little sorting mat. And what we're going to do is we're going to rank these objects and things from hottest. So 1 is the hottest. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 is the coldest. So we want to rank them on our mat here appropriately. So if I look at my cards again, so what would be the hottest? So I think this even says hot cocoa or fire. Which one do you think would be the hottest of those? So would fire go, would that be number 1? Now I'm going to do this. You guys can agree or disagree as I'm going on, if I should move it. But I definitely want you guys to be able to do this on your own. So I also have some of my other cards. I have holding a puppy, hot cocoa. I have ice with lemon, iced tea with lemon, and some juice here, and my ice cubes. So what would be second? So I'm thinking maybe the hot cocoa would be the second hottest. So I'm going to put that right there. And you can agree or disagree with me. Do you think one of these other things would be hotter than the cocoa? Well, this even says iced tea, so I'm not sure if that's going to be cold. Then what would come next? So here's the 4 ones that we have left. So what do you think would be number 3? This is where, again, like when we did with weight, trying to figure out and sort by weight, heavy objects to light objects, it was pretty easy to figure out which was the heaviest and which was the lightest. But when it got to the middle, it was a little harder because they were very close. So that's why I used the gram scale. There's a tool that we can use for temperature. Do you know what that is? It's actually a thermometer. So a thermometer tells us temperature of different things, objects and liquids, the air. So use a thermometer, and just like the gram the bucket scale, we can assign a number to it. So I can literally find a number for that temperature. And it works. There's a little liquid in here, and it reacts to heat. And you can see what's happening. I put my thumb on there, and look at the liquid. It's going up, and it's rising. Why is it doing that? Why is it rising? Well, if you didn't know, our body temperature is about 98 degrees, a little bit more than that. So we actually generate heat. So it's measuring the heat. If I would put this in a cup of ice water, the liquid would probably drop down, and then I can record. So it's a measure of heat energy or lack thereof. Sometimes if it doesn't have a lot of heat energy, you would get a low number. And there's two sets of numbers that you can use for that. So it's a great tool to use, and hopefully you get to use a thermometer a little bit later on in this year. But for right now, we can look at these different things and just kind of sort them accordingly. So I would think this one you can agree or not agree with me. I'm going to say this might be third. Holding a puppy. I do have a puppy. He's a Great Pyrenees. He is a puppy, and he's already 100 pounds. He's a big puppy. And he's very warm and cuddly. So I know, and I just said the word warm. So I would think that that would probably be the next. That's just my opinion. You can agree or disagree. And then I'm thinking just juice. If it's just sitting out like on a table or something, or if it was sitting in your lunchbox all day, it might not be too cold. It just says juice. It doesn't say it's frozen or cold or anything like that. So it could just be like room temperature, just sitting out or sitting in your lunchbox. And then we have our last two. So we have iced tea with lemon. Ice is in water, which is not frozen, basically tea. So I'm going to put that one here, and then I'm going to put ice cubes as the coldest. So you can see how I sorted. I sorted from hottest to coldest. Do you agree with everything that I did? You can talk with a partner and see if you agree or disagree. What would you change with the way I sorted? And you can do your own sort here. Maybe you can get some different cards, or think about some objects around your classroom that you could rank from hottest to coldest. Or if you're at home, think of some things around your house that you could rank hottest to coldest as well. And again, if we're not sure, we could always use a thermometer to help us find the correct temperature and assign a number to it using a great tool called a thermometer. So that's a little bit on temperature. That's another way we can sort, everybody. So thanks for joining me once again, and we will see you next time, first graders.